The morning mist at Serenity Summit Lodge slid through the pine trunks like pale silk, carrying the resinous scent of sap and the distant hush of an avalanche-fed waterfall. Maya Lark stood barefoot on the flagstone terrace, inhaling the thin mountain air in an easy, practiced pranayama. For 7 seasons, she had directed the lodge's yoga retreats, shepherding stressed-out urbanites into week-long meditations, cacao ceremonies, and silent hikes. Her guiding principle was plain: no gimmicks, no gurus, no credit card spirituality, just breath, movement, and the earth underfoot. When she agreed to rent the lodge's top-floor studio to an outside group for a single weekend, she felt the first tug of unease. The leader, a man calling himself Master Rishi Devpal, had phoned her months earlier with honeyed words about his quantum stillness intensive and a tidy deposit that would cover a whole month of firewood. His organization, Enlight Nation, seemed benign on the surface. Glowing testimonials, glossy brochures, a mission statement promising to lift all beings into purpose-driven prosperity. Maya disliked the prosperity buzzwords, but the lodge's roof needed new shingles. She quieted her misgivings and signed the contract. Now, on the 3rd dawn of Devpal's intensive, something was wrong. The studio's vaulted windows flared amber as sunlight poured over the ridge. 15 participants sat in a neat semicircle, backs arrow-straight, eyes closed. Yet one figure near the center radiated a disturbing stillness. Evan Caldwell, a gentle, bespectacled software engineer from Portland, had not moved since the previous afternoon. Maya had last spoken to him at lunch. He'd confessed excitement, even giddiness, about the Level 3 expansion session scheduled for that evening. Then, during the twilight practice, he'd slipped into lotus position and gone absolutely silent. At first, Devpal praised Evan's dissolution into timelessness. The class applauded softly. Hours passed. Evan's spine remained ramrod, his palms upturned like empty bowls. Maya had insisted they pause for dinner, but Devpal demurred. To disturb such depth would be a cosmic theft. Some students nodded reverently. Others shifted, unsure. By midnight, the room's air smelled of sandalwood and stale breath. Maya finally ended the session, guiding everyone to their rooms. Only Evan stayed behind, unblinking, candlelight trembling across his irises. Maya spent a restless night, half convinced Evan would simply unfold himself and wander to bed. At sunrise, he was still there, skin pale beneath a sheen of sweat, heartbeat faint but steady. She knelt, whispered his name, touched his shoulder. Nothing. Devpal appeared in the doorway, saffron robes swishing. "Sister Lark," he whispered, "fear not. His consciousness roams in subtle realms." "He needs an ambulance," Maya snapped. "To wrench him back is violence," Devpal said, voice velvet but eyes flinty. "I've shepherded thousands through this gate. He will return in due hour." Maya swallowed a retort. "If he isn't responsive in 30 minutes, I'm calling search and rescue." He smiled thinly. "Do as you must. Liability waivers are in order." That phrase, liability waivers, struck her like ice water. She left the studio, grabbed her parka, and strode into the brittle sunshine to clear her head. The lodge perched at 9,200 feet, reachable only by a 3-mile dirt road that wound past abandoned mines. Maya's mentor, old Annalisa Gruber, had bought it decades earlier as a sanctuary for itinerant peacemakers. Maya inherited the place when Annalisa passed. All the more reason, she thought, to protect its integrity. And now someone might die under her roof. She returned inside, hiked the stairs to the staff office, and pulled up Enlight Nation's website. Pop-ups bloomed. Earn while you learn. Ascend the 9 rings. Passive income through presence. The breath in Maya's chest flattened. She clicked deeper, finding tiers of membership fees. Initiate, disciple, luminary, celestial architect. Each promised escalating vibrational dividends for recruiting more students. It read like a parody, but carried legal disclaimers as dense as tree rings. She printed everything, highlighted the most damning sections, then hurried to the dining hall where the participants ate oatmeal in mute contemplation. A round woman named Shonda looked up. "Is Evan okay?" "He's still meditating," Maya said, forcing calm. "I may need some help getting him to bed. After breakfast, please meet me upstairs." Shonda nodded, relief shadowed by worry. Devpal entered, palms pressed in greeting. "Blessings on this sacred morning. Remember, we break verbal silence until noon." He glided to the buffet, dishing berries onto his porcelain bowl. Maya's neck prickled. A rule of silence conveniently smothered questions. She cornered Shonda and 2 other students, Lucas, a yoga teacher from Santa Fe, and Jana, a grad student whose skepticism simmered beneath courteous smiles. Together they climbed to the studio. Evan remained statue still, eyes open yet seeing nothing. The cinnamon-coloured mats around him were deserted. Candles had burned down to puddles. Shonda gasped. "He looks empty." Maya knelt, checked Evan's pulse, thready. "That's not meditation," Jana said quietly. "That's catatonia." Maya nodded, standing. "We need to lower him gently, elevate his legs, keep him warm." As they maneuvered him onto a blanket, his spine resisted like dry wood, but finally curled. No protest, no flicker of awareness. Lucas bit his lip. "Should we call 911? "The landline's in my office." Maya tucked a throw over Evan's legs. "I'll make the call." Before she could leave, Devpal swept in. His smile died when he saw Evan prone. "What have you done?" "First aid," Maya said. "He was traversing the void path." Devpal's voice rose. "Interference could trap him between planes." "Spare me," she pointed at Evan. "Human physiology, oxygen, glucose, synapses. If you object, take it up with evolutionary biology." Colour mottled Devpal's cheeks. "My students understand the risk." He signed consent. Maya met his gaze. "Consent ends when lives are at stake." Devpal's jaw worked, but he spun and left. Maya exhaled shakily and hurried downstairs. The lodge's only phone hung on a cedar wall near the kitchen. She dialed 911, explained the situation. The dispatcher promised to send a volunteer EMT unit, though the snow-choked road could make arrival slow. Maya thanked her, cradled the receiver, and saw Devpal striding toward her with 2 hulking assistants she had barely noticed before. "Step aside," he ordered. "You've breached contractual terms." "You mean the contract that lets you keep a man in a coma to sell enlightenment?" His assistants blocked the hallway. Devpal's tone cooled. "I will remove my group today, refund their lodging. You'll refrain from defamation." Maya's temper flared, but training tugged her inward. She inhaled, releasing tension on the exhale. "Tell me what Level 3 expansion actually is." "Advanced pratyahara," he said. "Withdrawal of the senses." "Does it involve these?" She reached into her pocket, produced a small paper envelope she'd found near Evan's mat. Inside lay 2 beige capsules. "What's in them?" Devpal's pupils pinpricked. "Herbal nervines." "I'll let the EMTs decide." She pocketed the envelope again. He stepped closer, voice a hiss. "You don't grasp forces at play. People crave freedom from scarcity. Our structure offers that, along with spiritual awakening. Who are you to judge?" "A yoga teacher with rent to pay." she said evenly. Only I don't charge for air. Behind DevPal, students began clustering. Whispers corkscrewed through the foyer. Evan? Ambulance? Is he dying? The assistants shifted, uncomfortable. Maya raised her voice just enough. Folks, I've called medical help. You're safe here. I'll answer anything you ask. Devpal's eyes flicked to the gathering crowd. His charisma depended on secrecy, mystique. He turned, plastering on a placid smile. Beloveds, the caretaker has acted out of fear. No blame. Let us pack our belongings and reconvene off-site. Shonda spoke up, arms folded. I paid $4,000 for 5 days. Leaving now isn't acceptable. And I already ordered merch for my downline, another man muttered. Jana stepped beside Maya. Please explain downline, Chad. The man, Chad, looked sheepish. Well, you know, each of us recruits 3 others, then they recruit. Pyramid scheme, Jana said. Devpal clapped sharply. Enough energies of discord, silence or disperse. His composure cracked, eyes wild. In that moment, Evan's soft moan drifted down the stairwell. Everyone froze, then bolted upward. Evan lay trembling, eyes darting. Water, he croaked. Relief crashed through Maya. She propped his head, helped him sip from a bottle Shonda offered. His pulse now stronger, but his gaze unfocused. What happened to me? He whispered. You tell us, Maya said gently. He frowned. During the expansion, I swallowed capsules Guru gave me. Said they'd suspend the mind. Then blackness. Jana turned on Devpal. Drugging participants? That's felony territory. Devpal backed away. They asked for transcendence. Maya rose, anger cooling to diamond. No more doublespeak. Every participant deserves clarity before they choose. Full refunds, immediate disclosure to authorities, and a formal statement that Serenity Summit had no part in your scheme. Non-negotiable. The assistants, sensing the shift, stepped aside. Students began peppering Devpal with questions. How much money goes up each tier? Why are we paying to recruit? And his answers tangled. The fragile lattice of ore collapsed. Maya slipped away to greet the arriving EMTs, 2 locals in red parkas hauling oxygen tanks. They loaded Evan onto a stretcher. His vitals hovered low but stable. He squeezed Maya's hand. Thank you for coming back for me. Always, she said. Outside, clouds gathered, bruised and fast-moving. Maya gave the EMTs the capsule envelope and a brief statement. They promised toxicology screening. As the ambulance lumbered down the track, she returned inside. Devpal's followers were scattered among sofas, leafing through the printed web pages Maya had left out. FTC warnings on multi-level marketing, lawsuits pending against Enlight Nation. Some cried, some cursed. Lucas approached Maya, rubbing his temples. Feels like my religion got repossessed. She touched his shoulder. Disillusionment hurts, but it's the first breath of real practice. The county sheriff arrived soon after, short and broad, snow clinging to his boots. He interviewed Devpal in the study. Raised voices spilled under the door. Eventually, deputies led the guru out in handcuffs, confiscating his leather satchel stuffed with cash-filled envelopes. Maya spent the afternoon making tea, offering blankets, fielding phone calls from frantic spouses. By dusk, most participants had arranged rides home. Only Jana remained, perched on the hearth, notebook open. I'm writing a dissertation on contemporary mysticism, she said. Today was unexpectedly rich. Maya barked a tired laugh. Make sure the footnotes mention consumer protection law. Wind rattled the shutters. Jana closed her notebook. How did you know it was a pyramid scheme? Language, Maya answered. Any teacher who talks more about abundance than awareness, more about levels than love, is selling something. Jana nodded. Wish I'd seen sooner. Night slid over the mountains. Maya lit a final lantern and sank onto the sofa, exhaustion descending. But beneath it, a river of gratitude ran strong. Evan was safe. The lodge's integrity, though bruised, remained upright. 2 days later, the local paper carried the headline, "Guru Arrested in Mountain Retreat Scam." Underneath, a photograph showed Serenity Summit's facade, icicles glinting like daggers. Reporters camped outside for interviews. Maya kept her answers simple. We teach breath and movement. Anything else is not yoga. The EMT's toxicology report soon reached her inbox. The capsules contained scopolamine, a potent anticholinergic that can induce stupor and amnesia. The district attorney added narcotics charges to the fraud indictment. A collective civil suit formed. Maya supplied affidavits. In the quiet gaps between legal calls, she stood on the terrace watching snowmelt drip from the eaves. The land thrummed with indifferent patience. She bowed to it daily, forehead to stone, recommitting to the vow she made years ago. Protect the space where people come to wake up, not to be put to sleep. One crisp April morning, Evan returned. He looked 10 pounds heavier, colour blooming in his cheeks. "I brought you something," he said, unloading a cardboard box of donated mats. "Figure you'll need spares after the chaos." Maya grinned, accepted the gift. They brewed nettle tea, sat at the long pine table. Evan described flashes of his blackout, spiralling tunnel, a voice coaxing him deeper. "Felt like falling into someone else's pocket," he said. "When I woke on the stretcher, the first thing I thought was, I paid to disappear." "Never again," Maya said. He exhaled. "I want to volunteer here. Help with trails, chop wood, whatever." "Stay for the season," she offered. In return, daily pranayama at dawn. His smile crinkled. "Deal." Over the next weeks, they patched walls scuffed by Devpal's entourage, restained decks, and stitched new cushion covers. Guests trickled back. The mountain thrummed with spring runoff, and the lodge's heart steadied. One afternoon, Shonda arrived unannounced, lugging her suitcase and a gleam of determination. "Ready for real yoga," she declared. Maya welcomed her in. Word spread of Serenity Summit's authenticity. Bookings filled through summer, no flashy promises, just honest practice. When journalists asked how she'd turned crisis into success, Maya shrugged. Truth markets itself. She did, however, install a new clause in every rental contract. Any outside facilitator must submit full curricula, ingredient lists, and financial structures. Non-compliance meant immediate expulsion. The clause was nicknamed the Evan Protocol. On a golden June evening, as thrushes warbled in the spruce boughs, Maya led a small class on the meadow. Shonda, Evan, Lucas, and Jana formed a loose circle. The air smelled of wild mint. Snowfields glowed on distant peaks. Maya guided them into Vrikshasana, tree pose, rooting feet in the soft earth. "Feel gravity's pull," she murmured. "It anchors us to truth. No one can float you to freedom. You grow there, ring by ring, like these pines." The setting sun stained the clouds coral. Maya paused, heart swelling. The pyramid had collapsed, but the mountain remained. And somewhere, beyond lawsuits and headlines, Annalisa Gruber's spirit surely smiled, witnessing a lineage guarded. Later, as stars kindled, the group sat around a crackling fire. Someone asked for a story. Maya hesitated, then told them of a young teacher, once dazzled by talk of abundance, who almost surrendered her lodge to a glittering stranger. She described the cost of that near miss, the terror of seeing a human being emptied out for profit, the fierce calm that arises when you decide, truly decide, to protect life over reputation. The flames wove her words into sparks that rose, flickered, vanished into the dark. When she finished, silence settled, not awkward but potent. They stared into the embers until Jana spoke, voice soft. "The difference between a pyramid and a mountain," she said, "is that one is hollow at the core." Maya smiled, tears prickling her eyes. "Exactly." Above them the Milky Way arched, vast, luminous, free. The fire popped, releasing a plume of cedar scent. Maya drew her shawl tighter, feeling the ridge's steady granite beneath her, and knew with unshakable certainty that no scheme, however gilded, could match the simple integrity of breath-meeting sky.